So, Sarah, how important are photographs to the entire website experience?
Amazingly important. They make such a difference to have proper photography on your website. It helps people establish that connection with you. It's one of the biggest difficulties I find people have, though, is getting their face out front and centre, but it makes such a difference. I know this. I know that people connect and will convert from your website because they see you and they connect with you.
It is always difficult because taking photographs, I know people hate having their photographs
We do.
taken. There's nothing I can get around it. It is uncomfortable. Nobody likes seeing themselves, like nobody likes hearing themselves on things like this podcast. But Pete, you do just have to get over it. Because as you say, the instant connection that you get with somebody from having you on your website is massively important. But it is uncomfortable. But I do hope that working with me, it's a lot easier, and it takes a little time. But you become less self-conscious, yes. And when you see the results, it's a lot better. So having these photos for you is important. Yes.
It makes me so happy when someone comes to me for a website and they have a good bank of photographs. And I'm not talking just about having a few headshots. I'm talking about having a range of photography, because we use it in very many ways. Taking, for example, my own session when you took some photographs of me, there's a range of photographs of not just my face, not just me, but also the tools of my trade, my laptop, my books, my notepad. These all get used in so many different ways as backgrounds, just to add a little bit of interest, as heading sections on the website, and it reinforces your brand, your personality, and just makes the website so much better and more professional.
Absolutely. And how do you think it is if we didn't talk to each other? How difficult would that be?
Well, I'm going to turn it the other way around, because it makes it so much easier, the fact that we talk in advance and you know what I need and what I want. You know that I'm going to want a big hero image to go at the top, front and centre of the website. And you know that I'm going to want that a lot wider than it is high, because it needs to stretch on the different types of screens that people will look at. You know that I'm going to want a photograph that's not got too many distractions in it. And I know that you can take out any distractions in photos if they appear. I like to have some photos that are not very cluttered, for those backgrounds that I can use, just sort of shaded backgrounds that I use behind words. And you also know that I want the person there in their brand colours, and not sitting on a bright pink sofa when their brand colours are much more muted. You know that it's all going to work together. So it is, that planning and that talking beforehand is so important.
Absolutely. And I find it easier as well, because when I'm creating a shot list, I can then ensure that for you, I'm getting shots, both landscape and portrait. I'm allowing space for us to crop it, yep. To have some breath space in the photo. As you say, blank space is nearly as important as actual something in it. So having those blank spaces. I can also help you in the past with extending canvases where we haven't quite got the right format. So I've extended a canvas so that it then fits exactly the right hole that you need to put it in. And equally, what do you think about when I provide the photos to you? How does the quality of the photos that I provide help you?
Getting the right resolution of a photograph for a website is very important for two reasons. If you've just taken a photograph and just uploaded it off of WhatsApp, it's going to be a very low quality and it's going to appear blurred and not very professional. By the same token, if you just upload a photo that's been a very high resolution straight off a camera, then it's going to be very slow to load, and that's going to be a poor experience for the visitor, and it's bad for your SEO. So having photographs in the right format, the right resolution, the right size to be clear, crisp, but also load fast enough to create that good visual experience. It's very important.
Good, and I'm glad that I can actually help with those bits when I'm taking photography and delivering the photographs to you. Can we talk a little bit about what we can do to images on our website? So when I give you images, I do put the file name. I will make sure that the file name is of the customer. It's not just some random set of numbers and letters that my camera gives me. I then format the file name that it's more meaningful for a website. But what else can we do to images on a website to make it more SEO friendly?
That file naming actually is a little thing, but it is really helpful to me, because if I'm uploading it, for example, to a WordPress website, which is very commonly used, finding those photos again is very easy, because you can search it. If the photo is called PXL1234, how do I know if it's of you, who it is, what they're doing? And it makes it easier for me to adjust the alt tag, which of course we want for both SEO and accessibility to describe the photograph. So those little things really, really helpful.
Sarah, how does poor imagery affect your website? So talk to me about stock photos.
Stock photos. Poor imagery. Well, let's revisit what you have a very short amount of time to make a good impression on someone when they visit your website. The first thing they're going to see is what we call that hero image at the top of the page. And if that hero image does not reflect you, your brand, and what you do, and your personality, you may stop people reading on further down. What we're trying to do is draw people down in the website to get information across. Now, if you have a photograph that is just a generic photograph of, let's say, a London skyline or people at a desk, you're not making that connection, and people are more likely to bounce off and go and find something else. If you have a good photograph of you, what you're doing, smiling if appropriate, you will make better a better connection, and hopefully people will stay longer on your website and find out more about you and what you do.
And how do you think having lots of stock images on your website affects it?
A lot of the time people have seen the same images over and over again. I'm not a photographer like you, and I can spot an unsplash image a mile off, or stock photography a mile off. And we're not daft. People will know that, and they'll know it's a stock image. And it just takes away that little bit of professionalism. We'll start with stock images. In the beginning, it's very hard to do that. But having proper imagery to replace the stock images gets that. I'm going to keep using the word connection again. It is about making connection, and connection is how we convert visitors into clients. And I'm going to throw that question back at you, Suzanne. How do you think it affects things?
Absolutely not a fan of stock images. So when I start working with the client, generally I will look at what images they've got on their website, and that is my first initial plan to start my shot list of, okay, which of these can I replace, and how can I replace them? How can we make these look better? I then go through all the copy and look at, okay, so these are the types of things that they're saying. How can I interject with a photograph that might actually help them, rather than just having a big block of text? So I'm also looking at what photographs aren't on the website that we can inject into to help the user understand a little bit more about them. So they're the two things that I start off. I definitely start off with looking at what I can replace, and then I will go back and say, okay, what isn't there? What can we put in? What bits do we want to show a customer to help explain what they do and how they can help their customer? So if you're a service-based business, it's what are the steps that you do that the customer might not see that would actually be really helpful for them to understand. So what images do we then need to take to show that to their customer? So I get that a lot. So for example, I've been working with an ice cream manufacturer, and we're looking at how do we show the customer their quality and the types of equipment that they use to produce the ice cream that they're going to end up having in the end. And it's all of those little things that build up a bigger picture, so that the client can then understand what you actually do and what service and what help that you can give them. So when I first meet customers and they know that I'm a brand photographer, they instantly go, oh, so you do headshots then? And that's the first thing that is ingrained in us, that, you know, you need a headshot. And yes, you do need a headshot. You need it for your LinkedIn, you need it for other social media platforms, you might need it for email marketing, you'll definitely need one for your website. But brand photography is so much more than that. And as you know, Sarah, you do need more different types of images on a website.
Yes, I love to see a variety of things. I don't want to put just people's faces on the website. Obviously, we do need to get you, get that headshot on your about page. But I want to see some images that show a little bit more about your process, what you do. And I can use them in so many different ways. That photograph of a keyboard, that photograph of books, pen, paper, cup of coffee, we all make us human. And I do want to see some photographs that might be a little bit more of an informal headshot as well for the about page. It's nice to get your smile and personality through.
Absolutely. I think a lot of brand, we spoke about this, that it can be much more candid now. It doesn't have to be a real straight-laced structured headshot anymore. It can be, you can be absolutely bursting about laughing. They can be a lot more candid and a lot more fun than they ever used to be. All of those little bits show a lot more personality than just some very straight-laced portrait photo of yourself.
And it's important to think about the messaging and who you're connecting. For example, the photography that you're going to take is going to be different depending on whether you are a lawyer or some other clients that you've worked with that have slightly more trying to think how to say solo connects without saying solo connects. And some clients that need a little bit more of a fun personality because they're in the entertainment industry. I like the way that you bring in people's personalities. For example, in my own photo shoot, as well as being a website developer, I'm also love my crafts, and you introduced a little bit of my craft element into my photographs to, again, makes that little connection. Somebody's going to see it and think, oh, she's like me. It's very good to use things that are much more about you and your business than just something that the standard photographs that you get off stock.
Absolutely, and we were talking about earlier that the colour palette that we use, again, understanding, as Natalie always says, understanding what your brand aesthetics are going to look like. So if you're saying all these things with your copy about who you are and what you do, and then your brand aesthetics look a certain way, your photography should not be jarring. It should match all of those components so that everything looks like one cohesive bit. And that's the beauty of us working together, is that we all understand all of these different aspects of it, so nothing jars against another. So when you turn up for your photo shoot, you will have planned what you're wearing, what change of clothes that you might want to bring, what more relaxed shots you might want, what more sort of formal shots you might want. So all of these things are well planned out in advance, and they're very important to have a real mixture on your website, so that, again, as you say, you can use them in very, very different areas of the website.
And don't forget, it's not just your website. You're looking at your social media, different types of different photographs for different occasions, because on social media sometimes you are doing quick posts, sometimes you are trying to get across different things, and having that variety, it lasts so much longer.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, a quick selfie is sometimes all that you need, and if it shows your personality, I am all for it. But what I do want to see is a bit of a mixture. It can't all be quick selfies or cut out photos from a holiday or a wedding. It needs to be a mixture of both.
Oh, I love my photos that you took for my LinkedIn posts in particular. It's just so much easier whenever I'm posting something to go to that bank of photos and have something that's going to reflect what I'm doing.